Anand Zanane and Barkhadat in Varanasi. Rohit Rajan for NDTV.
Well, is the BJP's attack on the Election Commission justified? I'll take that question first to Siddharth Nath Singh, the national spokesperson of the BJP, who joins us tonight from Kolkata. Siddharth, we've heard very strong words there by the Election Commission today, which held a rare press conference saying that they were not afraid of any political party, that they're just discharging their duties, they're doing their job, that they have no reason to doubt the credentials of the officer concerned, and that senior leaders need to show greater maturity in discourse while referring to a constitutional body like the EC. Those are very strong words, Siddharth Nath Singh, from the Election Commission. How does the BJP respond?
Well, Nidhi, sorry to, I have a little audio problem because I'm sitting outside, but let me try and answer if I've understood your question correctly. You see, we are in election mode. It's 3 more days to go for the final polling. This is the ground for which we had applied, and you have heard Mr. Jaitley also when your own channel interviewed him this morning, where we have received, and we all have now with us, that there was a permission given, and accordingly we were asked to deposit 10,000 rupees. By late evening, it's an afterthought. Unfortunately, and I'm saying it, afterthought by the polling officer to reject it. Now, what we asked to the Election Commission, that they should intervene, understand what is happening on the ground, and there is a political messaging, I would rather say political messaging through the officer, by those who are in power in the state, that we are the only one who can stop BJP. And this is where the jurisdiction of the Election Commission should have come in and should have objected and seen whether the same ground has been used for political rallies during the elections or not. And unfortunately, that has not happened, and therefore we decided that this is our democratic right to sit on a dharna and protest about it, which we are doing it.
It is your democratic right to protest, but the question is whether, Siddharth Nath Singh, the kind of language used against the Election Commission is it proper? Mr. Modi himself has today accused the EC of bias. He has said it's not an impartial body. He's virtually said they're working at the Congress's behest. Mind you, when Mamata Banerjee accused the EC of political vendetta, we were the first to say that this was inappropriate. I'm going to actually take that question to Siddharth Bhatia because Siddharth Nath Singh can't hear it. Okay, Siddharth, you can hear me. Go ahead.
I'm really sorry. I'm really not getting your what.
Okay, it's very windy there. I'll take that to Siddharth Bhatia until we can fix that. Siddharth Bhatia, the question is about the greater maturity that the EC calls for in the discourse. It's not actually the BJP alone. We've seen several political leaders across party lines attacking the Election Commission again and again.
Well, sticking to this particular incident for the time being, let's just say that I think politically the BJP has overplayed its hand. The attack on the EC is extremely unfortunate. There have been occasions in the past when it has pointed out that the EC is completely and totally balanced and fair. The elections were held in December. There was absolutely no problem. The BJP won 3 times in 3 states, so 4 actually. So that was never a problem. So this kind of attack is extremely shocking and extremely unfortunate, because it shows that a party which is not yet in power, if it is actually saying things like we will show you your bias, etc., you wonder, in fact shudder to think what will happen if this party comes to power and things don't go their way. So that's one. Politically, it is also sending a message, and of course everyone has picked up on it, that this could be well a sign of desperation. Now, no party wants to send out that kind of message. So on both fronts, as a mature political party fighting an election, it has actually made a very critical and tactical mistake, and really speaking a serious mistake to go after. After the EC, whichever other party has done it, they have done it wrong. You cannot accuse, you accept it, try to find ways to get around it, but you don't go on a podium in front of thousands of your supporters and say, we will show you, you are acting as a referee, impartial referee on behalf of the other side. That is simply unacceptable.
Okay, I'm going to go
and to go on a dharna. Nidhi, I may also add here to go on a dharna, something that the BJP was mocking Aam Aadmi Party for in Delhi.
I'm going to go to Piyush Goyal of the BJP tonight, who joins us from Varanasi, live from Varanasi, as Mr. Modi's roadshow continues there. Piyush Goyal, Siddharth Bhatia says he believes this is a sign of desperation, that the language that has been used against the Election Commission is not justified. You also heard what the EC said today, saying that there needs to be greater maturity in the discourse. In a sense, the BJP has tarnished the entire EC today. Sweeping generalizations is what they said. Was that the fair thing to do?
Nidhi, I don't know what desperation Siddharth Bhatia has to try and run down Mr. Modi and the BJP. I could hear almost a kind of a feeling of somehow trying to corner the BJP, but unfortunately Siddharth does not seem to have bothered to look up the facts. He makes one basic mistake, and I think many of you also have not seen the entire story in its correct perspective. The fact is that nobody is infallible. I mean, just because it's the Election Commission, and we have been very proudly proclaiming from the rooftops that by and large over the last 60 odd years the Election Commission has done a fairly good job, but that does not make anybody infallible. So I don't understand this argument that, oh, why is today the BJP attacking the Election Commission? But for the first time in the history of independent India, we have a situation that a candidate is not allowed to go and canvass and meet his own voters in his own constituency. It is unheard of. It is something which is absolutely unacceptable. And the conduct of the Election Commission in this whole saga, step by step, has been one of utter dismay and failure. I'm sure you are aware that the BJP had sought the permissions well in time. Now it is in public domain that we actually received the permission from the ADM for this particular site to hold the public meeting. We have actually even paid the money. 10,000 rupees have been deposited in the government treasury. I don't know if Siddharth is aware of all these facts. Thereafter, under pressure of a local state administration, and the very purpose of the Election Commission to run a free and fair process of polls is that states which have animosity towards any party or candidate are not allowed to roughshod the election process. Otherwise, you would have a situation wherein West Bengal, the Trinamool Congress doesn't allow the left or the BJP or the Congress to hold their rallies. You will have a situation where maybe in a governor-ruled state like Andhra Pradesh, the central government uses its force, nudges the election official, the district magistrate in this case,
Piyush,
and
I
does
just
not
want to
allow
point
a
out to you
candidate
what the CEC said today on the issue of the payment that you mentioned and the permission that was granted. Firstly, he has said that he is not aware permission was granted. Yes, you have a letter. We've seen that letter that shows that it apparently was. One second. Now he has said the CEC
shows how incompetent the EC is.
No, the CEC today said that collection of payment.
Analyzed it.
He said that the collection of payment does not mean that permission is granted, that when it was examined from a security angle consequent to that, then the situation was changed. Therefore, he's saying that the payment doesn't mean that you've been given the permission. My point is that could there have been a different way to handle this? You have a right to protest, certainly. But to then say that the EC is working at the behest of other political forces, for one rally in Varanasi?
Well, we have not said the EC is acting on the behest of anybody. I think you have completely not understood the point. We have said the EC's duty is to ensure a free and fair poll, and should the local administration not be allowing the free and fair poll and the candidates to campaign, it is the duty, it is enjoined on it's a constitutional duty of the EC to make sure that the local administration is not influenced by state government and stop a candidate from campaigning. And what wrong has the BJP done? It is a constitutional right also of the BJP to have a satyagraha. All we did was have a satyagraha, and after that, since you have not allowed my candidate to come into the constituency, all he's done is he's driven to the party office. He's going to the party office to come and meet all of us. I don't think you can deny a candidate the right to visit his party office. even if Siddharth or Mr. Bhatia or somebody may feel very hassled with the kind of upsurge of public support, with the kind of enthusiastic crowds on the street.
Let me just take
Obviously,
this to Prashant
we have not
Bhushan.
got them from anywhere. They are the people of Varanasi who have come out to
Okay,
express.
Siddharth Bhatia has
to
a quick
Mr. Modi.
response to you before I come to Mr. Bhushan. Yes, Siddharth.
No, I think there is a little bit of, because we just heard a speech by Mr. Modi and I've heard it through the afternoon too, where he said, if you think that you are going to be helped to win an election, not by the votes, but because the EC is helping you, you're wrong. Now, if that is not an implied accusation of bias, I don't know what is. So I don't think it was as simple as just a satyagraha or whatever. So I think we should be very clear on what has come out.
It's an accusation of inaction.
No, but
It is an accusation of, no, I'm sorry. According to what I heard, it was not.
No, Prashant Bhushan, the point is...
You may have heard something differently, but the fact is the EC is not performing its duties.
No, but there's one, that is one thing to say, but to accuse it of being biased is quite another. And Prashant Bhushan, there is though a valid point that the BJP makes, which is that isn't it unfair and absurd that somebody who is contesting from a particular place is not allowed to hold a rally from there? How does one reconcile that? I mean, Mr. Rahul Gandhi is going to do a road show in Varanasi this Saturday. They make the point that if he can do it, why can't Mr. Modi hold a rally?
So one has to look at the entire situation. We have on the one hand a history of the BJP attacking independent constitutional institutions such as the National Human Rights Commission when they indicted Mr. Modi and the Gujarat government on the 2002 genocide in Gujarat. This attacked even the Supreme Court when the Supreme Court passed orders for constituting an SIT initially. They are now attacking the Election Commission because the Election Commission has denied permission to the BJP to hold a rally at a particular place, Mr. Modi to hold a rally at a particular place. Now look at what the BJP has been doing. It has been running, firstly it has been wantonly flouting the model code of conduct by holding election meetings on the day of the elections in clear violation of the election rules. They have been flaunting religious symbols. They have been invoking an appeal on religious lines by Mr. Modi giving a speech in the backdrop of the photograph of Lord Ram and this Ram temple, etc. They have been openly trying to communalize the situation by Mr. Modi first accusing Muslims of infiltrating into Assam, etc., thereby triggering communal riots there. Mr. Amit Shah accuses Azamgarh for becoming...
Shouldn't he be able to hold a rally in the constituency from where he is standing from?
I'm coming to that.
Yeah.
I'm coming to that.
Mr.
Now, in 1991, when Mr. Shatrughan Sinha of the BJP held a rally, wait a minute, Mr. Piyush Goyal, you've had your say. When in 1991, when Mr. Shatrughan Sinha held a rally at the same place in Benia Bagh, it almost led to a communal riot. Now, given the kind of backdrop in which this BJP and Mr. Modi was coming, if the administration felt that this was a communally sensitive area and allowing Mr. Modi to hold a very large rally in that communally sensitive area would create a security problem, that's certainly a perception that the local authorities and the Election Commission is entitled to have. On that basis, for the BJP to go on an all-out offensive against the Election Commission is not only unfair, but shows their scant respect and contempt for independent constitutional authorities.
Except I don't think
they have not only
that the
shown
EC has cited any communal sensitivities here. I don't think that they've cited security reasons. But
that's what they are saying, that it's a security hazard. That's the report that all the authorities have given.
But the point is,
given the past history of this place, given the manner in which the BJP is trying to communalize this election, they are now just trying to fish in troubled waters.
Yes, Piyush.
Nidhi, has this world moved in the last 23 years or no? 91 and 2014, there have been hundreds of rallies in that same location, including many by the BJP there has been no problem. And if by that yardstick, you could possibly not have any rally in the whole of Delhi, where in 1984 thousands of people were killed by the congressmen. Now would you try to suggest that from 84 to now, there should be no rally in the whole of Delhi ever? What Mr. Prashant Bhushan is talking about constitutional authority.
That's not the point.
A party which said a Republic Day parade is also not required. The Congress said they tore down an ordinance passed by the cabinet. All of these are B teams of the Congress, whether it's the Aam Aadmi Party, whether it's Mulayam Singh's party, all of them are now hell-bent on ganging up to try and stop this upsurge of public support that Mr. Modi is getting.
That's
and Mr. Modi today has travelled to the party office,
coming from the
passing
BJP.
through areas with crowds which are 10 times more than they would have been at the rally ground. So the fact of the life is, the people of Varanasi are supporting Mr. Modi in large numbers. You can stop
why didn't Mr. Modi go ahead with his other programs for which he got permission? Why didn't he go ahead with those? For instance, he got permission to do the aarti. Why didn't he do it?
We have given you the timelines. We applied for permission. The collector did not give us permission till 8 o'clock in the evening. At 8 o'clock we withdrew the request because it was impossible to make arrangements for the thousands of people who would obviously want to come and participate in the Ganga Aarti or in every program of Mr. Modi. The collector
so Ganga Aarti becomes a political program of Mr. Modi.
For even 150 people gathering in Surya Hotel where I am sitting right now. The collector did not even give us that permission.
No, but when Mr. Modi says he is apologizing to Ganga Ma for not performing the aarti, and that a mother's love is above politics. 1 second, Piyush Goyal, it's Mr. Modi who has tweeted and said that a mother's love is above politics. He could have gone ahead with the aarti. He could have gone ahead. My point is... Yes.
Nidhi, the so-called permission you are alluding to was delivered at 1:30 in the night to a worker's residence who was not even at home. What could we have done in the morning in terms of the security of Mr. Modi? What could we have done in terms of the thousands of people who would have wanted to come there and who would have been inconvenienced because of the lack of arrangements? We have certain duties to our leaders also. We have certain duties to maintain peace and harmony. If the administration has failed to do their job, we would not have been able to organize it. Therefore, we did not take him to the Ganga Ghat. I think the BJP has performed as a responsible party. It is the district administration, the state government and the election commission which is answerable by Mr. Modi to not go to the Ghat.
That's happened again since yesterday, and Gaurav Bhatia is back with us on that. Gaurav Bhatia, the fingers keep being pointed back at your government in UP, that these officers and these officials are afraid because after a week from now they'll be back and reporting to you, and that this is all a political game that's being played out. It's very unfortunate that that is what the discourse has come to.
Nidhi, such statements and the statement of Mr. Amit Shah that does the EC needs to take permission from Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav only show the little understanding or the little respect they have for constitutional bodies like the Election Commission of India or the Supreme Court of India. And I would only say this, that just now, for not holding the aarti, Piyush Goyal ji was saying that it was a security issue, but when the permission is denied by the returning officer on the basis of some intelligence input which say that there is a threat perception to Mr. Modi, they are willing to ignore that completely. And God forbid, if say permission was given ignoring these intelligence inputs and some untoward incident would have happened, they would have cried foul over the district administration as well as the Election Commission of India. This clearly shows their own irresponsible behavior towards all the constitutional bodies. One more important thing that I would like to say is that they have been talking about, all the communal hatred that they can spread during these elections. Then it became a casteist election for them when Mr. Narendra Modi talked about the backward class of his. And people are asking today, where is the development agenda that the BJP was boasting about when the election started? They are so unsure today, and the dismal gathering today during the protest itself shows that they have actually let down the people of Varanasi, and I'm sure the voters of Varanasi would teach them a lesson when they go to vote on the 12th of May.
I'm going to take the point that you made on
Nidhi
security.
also,
The point that you made on security to Piyush Goyal, that
Yeah.
Piyush Goyal, if something had happened, okay, let's just say tomorrow something untoward did happen. You see, you know what happened in Patna when that rally happened, and you were going hammer and tongs after the state administration there. Now, something untoward did happen, then you would have blamed the state administration here as well. Now, so if there is a security worry, isn't that something that you think needs to be delved deeper into and taken a little more seriously?
Nidhi, Gaurav is making a very funny argument about security at Ganga Ghat. I again repeat, the permission was denied all through the day. When we could have made the arrangements for when we could have made all the arrangements for the security, the district administration actually gave us the permission and then withdrew the permission, and those records are with your channel now. You can see the large number of people over there right on your screen, and nothing untoward is happening by the people. We suspect it is the Samajwadi Party government which would have been interested in creating a communal riot.
So please don't attribute motives to our
Let me
government and spare us from that.
Let me just get Mr.
We
Krishnamurthy, the
suspect
former
it is
Chief
the
Election
SP government
Commissioner, into this.
which
Let's
was
get the EC's point of view.
interested in communalizing the atmosphere.
No, Mr. Krishnamurthy, do you believe that this could have been
Yeah, when
handled
the
better
MLAs were
by the
given
returning
ticket, it was
officer
the
and by
SP
the
government,
Election
I guess.
Commission?
Or then when Lord Rama backdrop was used, which party was to be blamed for that?
Just give me a minute. Mr. Krishnamurthy, the BJP's argument is that they got, they've produced a letter where they have clearly got permission to go ahead with the rally. They also say that they deposited money for the same. Therefore, was it unfair to have withdrawn that permission later? How do you think it could have been handled?
Well, although the whole world is watching our democratic exercise, it's unfortunate that such incidents are marring the quality of our elections. I would also like to say that there are some facts which are not clear, whether the permission was given first and it was withdrawn. I see the point of the grievance of the BJP in this regard, if it is true. But I think the Election Commission and the returning officer probably should have given the detailed reasons for this purpose. But whatever be the position, the political parties seem to be losing reason when they take a decision about attacking the Election Commission. It is not confined to one party. I have been used to attacks from various parties. But the point I would like to say is, if you have a grievance with the Election Commission, if you have a grievance with the returning officer, there are methods by which you make your representation against it. And you can go to the President of India, you can go to the court, but there is no point in attacking the neutrality of a constitutional institution.
But sir,
Certainly
the point is that
the
you
political
say,
party involved here,
the point is that you say, you believe
it
it was unfair if they were given permission and then it was withdrawn, sir, because that is what the BJP says. They have a letter showing that they did get permission which was withdrawn. Would you say that was very unfair? Was that unfair?
Probably some more explanation needs to be given.
Sorry, Mr. Krishnamurthy, sorry, go ahead.
It is on the website. Kindly see the thing.
No, we've seen the letter. You're right, Piyush.
So some more detailed explanation should have been given.
Okay.
But that does not justify attacking a constitutional institution.
Okay, I take that back to Piyush Goyal.
You can always represent it at the appropriate level.
My leader,
yes,
the election is only 3 days away. We have only 2 days left of campaigning, that is today and tomorrow. When this permission, originally the district magistrate told our Karyakartas that you apply for permission, I will give you the permission. We accordingly applied for permission. His junior officer gave us the permission. We made the payment. Even at that time, we had not received approval for the 150 people intellectual gathering in the same location, Surya Hotel. He did not give us permission for Ganga Aarti, but he gave us permission for the rally at the ground. Thereafter, he kept dilly-dallying. At 1:30, he made my senior colleague wait in his house and disappeared. Till the late evening, till 8:30, a very senior BJP leader was sitting, waiting for the district magistrate, and he did not show up at all.
But Piyush
at
Goyal, the point Mr. Krishnamurthy makes is that even if you had a grievance, there was a way...
Wait a minute, Nidhi. Listen, I'm telling you what we did. Mr. Jaitley called up the Chief Election Commissioner, Mr. Sampath, appealed to him that you please intervene and take appropriate action. Mr. Sampath said, I will look into it. Thereafter, Mr. Sampath stopped taking Mr. Jaitley's calls. At 8:30, out of frustration, we aborted our applications, we withdrew our applications. We came back and we decided on the dharna, which we made amply public. Even this morning, some overtures were made by the Election Commission that kindly withdraw your dharna. We said we are happy to withdraw the dharna if the Election Commission allows us to hold the public meeting tomorrow or day after. But they still did not permit us.
There are 3 days left, sir. As Mr. Piyush Goyal points out, Mr. Krishnamurthy, there are just these 2 or 3 days left of campaigning in Varanasi. This is, after all, the constituency from where he is contesting from. Therefore, the BJP felt that it was in its right to lodge a very strong protest because it hardly has any time and there was no other way. How would you respond, sir?
You are asking me,
yes.
Nidhi?
Yes.
Yeah. You see, as I said, they are certainly entitled to represent their grievances. They are certainly entitled to make a political capital out of it. But they have no right to criticize the impartiality of a constitutional authority. They have channels of appeal. They could have gone to the president, they could have gone to the court. Even if the election is to be held in 5 days, if it is illegal or if it is unconstitutional, it can be annulled at any point of time.
Okay, you're saying that they had other options. They could have even gone to court. Yes.
We have done no wrong. The Election Commission itself said we are entitled to do a dharna.
No, you
what
are.
We did was
I think the question is whether questioning the neutrality of the EC is the right thing to do. Mr. Kesavan wants to come in. Gaurav, give me a second. Let Mr. Kesavan come in. He's been waiting patiently. Yes, Mr. Kesavan.
Piyush has been very aggressive today. I think they are on the defensive. But let me start by saying this, Nidhi. I'm hearing my own voice, but I'll still go ahead. See, it's very, very strange that when, I just want to cite one incident. When both Azam Khan of the SP, which is the ruling dispensation in the state, and Amit Shah for his, revenge remarks were both banned to hold rallies in Uttar Pradesh, there was a lot of criticism. Then the Election Commission revoked the ban on Mr. Amit Shah when he said that he will not do such things going forward. But the ban on Azam Khan, who is from the Samajwadi Party, which is ruling Uttar Pradesh state, at that time, the Election Commission seemed to the BJP as the symbol of impartiality. But today, when they have done something within their own discretion and wisdom, the Election Commission has become a leviathan, it's become a monster which is out to muzzle BJP. It's so unfortunate, let me say this, Nidhi, with unflinching integrity and steadfastness, the Election Commission of India has been discharging the responsibility vested by it with the Constitution of India. And even today, for the first time, as the Election Commissioner pointed out, when a rare press conference is being held within the election time, usually it's held when, before the election starts and then after. Today, even when he uttered his words, he comported himself with utmost, dignity and poise. But, the fact is not lost here that these people have, attacked this institution in such a virulent, offensive way and use such veiled threats, but these cautionary tactics have not worked. I think we salute the Election Commission of India that they have not cowed down to these threats of the BJP and the cautionary tactics of the BJP, and they've still reposed faith in their, returning officer and said that his judgment is correct.
Partly that many political leaders, Mr. Kesavan, have been defying the model code of conduct. Mr. Rahul Gandhi was seen yesterday only in Amethi inside an EVM enclosure, which the Election Commission is now investigating. That is one part of it. You all have also attacked constitutional authorities. You've attacked institutions like the CAG when it didn't suit you. I think what's happening is that whenever political parties are uncomfortable with a certain institution, you just go after it. And it's a fact for all parties. Azam Khan of the SP has been doing it. I told Gaurav that since yesterday.
With respect, I'll answer this in 2 parts. First thing, which Sri Rahul Gandhi ji, there was a polling officer there. If there was any objection, he would have raised it. If there is an objection, let the Election Commission, look into it, and we adhere by the Election Commission. But let me just tell you one point about the pattern. Much before all this happened on April 21 in Firozabad, Narendra Modi ji said he'll inquire into the role of the Election Commission. Then again he said launch an FIR against me, and today this. You know what's the sad part for BJP, Nidhi? They are very uneasy about the results. They know, they're in nervous panic. They know that the results are not going to go well for them. They're looking for an alibi. They're looking for a reason to blame for the defeat in the election. And now they have found the Election Commission, and they'll say later on May 16, the elections were not held free or fair, and that is why we were defeated. And this is the ruse of the BJP, and I think it's unfortunate they choose to attack the Election Commission, to find excuses for the defeat. And let me ask you one more thing. You talked about, the
Okay, Gaurav Bhatia,
Mr. Jaitley ji spoke today.
Yes, Gaurav, and then back to Piyush. Yes.
I think this is a result because the BJP leadership is frustrated. And top leaders like Mr. L.K. Advani and Mrs. Sushma Swaraj have not even spoken on these big issues where the BJP is protesting. So it remains a divided house, and it is clearly visible that because things have not turned out to be the way BJP expected them to be, now it's coming out as frustration. One more important point, Nidhi, that people are saying Mr. Narendra Modi has not been allowed to campaign in his own constituency. Let me make it clear that holding a big rally is not the only way to campaign. There are many other ways to campaign. You can have a door-to-door campaign, you can have nukkad sabhas, you can have smaller meetings, you can have a road show. So Mr. Narendra Modi was given permissions for all other events but this one event.
Goyal, why not a different way to campaign? Why not do a door-to-door?
Gaurav Bhatia.
Why not?
Gaurav Bhatia may be a leader for whom only nukkad sabhas matter. But Narendra Modi, you have seen, even when he's driving on the road, there are lakhs of people who come over there. So it's not possible for us to campaign based on Gaurav Bhatia's recommendation.
Minister of the country.
No, Gaurav Bhatia's point is that there are different ways to campaign, Piyush Goyal. If you can't do a big rally,
there are different ways doing that. So yes, he wants Mr. Narendra Modi to visit the 200
campaign. One second, let him answer.
Yes, so,
yeah.
So now I will have to take lessons from Mr. Gaurav Bhatia to get Mr. Narendra Modi to go 250,000 homes door to door in Varanasi. Now Gaurav Bhatia may have a problem that his party doesn't walk round, so they can only do that. But Mr. Modi has done 400 public meetings
all the meetings of SP have been larger than the rallies of Mr. Narendra Modi. And let me tell you, on the 12th we are holding a road show in Varanasi, and you will see we will have more crowd than the BJP had.
Yeah, you hold it on the 12th.
Please don't
After the election is over, you can hold a road show.
I'm only showing you some ways of campaigning and not
we can hold a road show.
Okay, I'm sure you both have
on the
amazing
12th, as he rightly pointed out, after the elections are over.
Okay, Mr.
But the fact is, Mr. Modi has done 400 rallies in Maoist affected areas, in Gadchiroli.
Committed to another challenge.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Gaurav Bhatia cannot protect my movement. That's the reality.
Okay, Mr. Krishnamurthy, go ahead, sir.
On the 10th.
Thank you. I have nothing more to say except that the political parties now should think seriously of reforms. There is no point in continuing this kind of electioneering. We need to think seriously about changes in our election management and election laws. And I hope the party, whichever party comes to power or whichever the parliament members are elected, they should take up this subject seriously.
So do you think that part of the problem in this election also was about how long this election was, Mr. Krishnamurthy? I mean, this is 9 phases. It's an unprecedented and such a long election. And has that been part of the problem?
I do agree. This is one of the things I do agree. In fact, I have been thinking about it. I think the 9-phase election was, I think the good intention was there, but in practice it has created more problems. So they should seriously think, even if it is necessary, have more paramilitary forces, but try to reduce the number of phases.
Nidhi, I just want to come in and make one point here.
Yes, Mr.
Nidhi,
I'm going to get last comments from everyone.
Keshwan here.
Mr.
Nidhi, Nidhi, I didn't get a chance, but I just want to say this. So much brouhaha was made when Shri Rahul Gandhi went to his, constituency and looked at all the booths when voting was happening, which is very normal, because, always people do go and look at the constituency, and only 41 constituencies were remaining. I just want people to focus, especially the media, on the nervousness and panic of the whole BJP top brass who was sitting in Varanasi today. When you attributed, why Rahul Gandhi ji was in his constituency on voting day, look, how do you explain the whole BJP brass sitting in Varanasi, and trying to protect Mr. Modi, because they don't have a chance to win. They are going to lose. That is, and this nervousness, this panic, this desperation should be focused upon. They feel that he's going to lose the battle, so they're coming here, making a big scene so that I can have an exit route which is not even graceful. And let me tell you one thing, Midhi, this is a blot in the history of Indian elections, and the BJP ought to apologize not only to the Election Commission of India, but also to this great nation for the way in which they have undermined the constitutional bodies and also cast a grave doubt on the electoral process.
Okay, Piyush Goyal, seeing the pictures right now from Varanasi, you should actually be happy because you had a lot of political mileage out of this entire controversy in the last 48 hours.
Well, we are unhappy that the Election Commission has failed to do its duty and to uphold the high standards of which are expected of the Election Commission. We are unhappy that the Election Commission has not acted, whether it is the poll rigging that's going on all over Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal. We are unhappy that the Election Commission is nitpicking on small issues, but the big issues they are not able to handle. We have been asking the Election Commission to sort out the massive rigging that has happened in West Bengal and UP, and to ensure that in the last two phases it doesn't happen, but we are not finding adequate action. So the body is lending itself to criticism for its inaction. I think we have a legitimate right to do a satyagraha. The Congress Party
calling it
and
biased is
Mahatma
another.
Gandhi
You can criticize it. The question is whether you should call them biased.
Mahatma Gandhi used satyagraha legitimately as a tool to achieve an end.
Oh, please.
The BJP today has used the satyagraha to convey our angst against the ineffectiveness of the Election Commission.
Please don't
and
Mahatma
we have
Gandhi.
done nothing else. Mr. Modi is going to the party
Okay,
office.
1 second, gentlemen.
I'm sure we have not.
Nidhi,
Even the Election Commission.
Okay,
not only
Gaurav Bhatia and then Siddharth Bhatia.
By the
Insulted the
BJP
Election
leaders.
Commission, they
Why are they
insulted Mahatma
feeling so
Gandhi.
hassle looking at the huge crowds?
Okay,
Nidhi,
Gaurav Bhatia, last comment, then Siddharth.
Any institution that does not favor the BJP is biased, and Mr. Narendra Modi would destroy every institution other than the one he will hold. And I would just say today's protest with senior leaders of BJP was worse than a Nukkad Sabha also. And what is this kind of arrogance that Mr. Narendra Modi cannot have a one-to-one contact with the voters of Varanasi even when he hasn't won the election? It is very unfortunate.
Well, I just want to remind you about Mr. Azam Khan's
Well, you are not allowing him to come to Varanasi.
Azam Khan has been, abusing
You are
the
not
EC as
allowing
well.
him to come to
The point is
Varanasi.
nobody is above, attacking the EC and questioning its neutrality in this election.
Nidhi, let me point out that Mr. Azam Khan has abided by the order of the Election Commission of India. He is not holding any rallies after that. He is not addressing any rallies. So we might have differences with the order because Mr. Amit Shah's order was revoked and his wasn't, but still we respected the order of the Election Commission of India.
Okay, last word, Siddharth Bhatia. Let's wrap this up.
That is because Amit Shah had done no wrong and Azam Khan was a communal statement which he made. Amit never made a comment.
I will let you all have a debate on Amit Shah and Azam Khan.
Communal politics.
Election Commission understood its mistake and corrected it.
Okay.
They also were wrong in
Siddharth
giving
Bhatia,
an
wrap
order
this up
against
for us.
Amit Shah in the first place.
Aren't you going to be glad to see this election over on Monday, Siddharth Bhatia?
He's not. He's going to find the BJP in power. He's not going to be happy about it.
No, I will. I certainly will.
No, I think Mr. Goyal, you know me better than I do. I'm an impartial journalist, but I'd just like to say one thing, that one good thing that has come out of this is that every party, even on this show and even otherwise, has said clearly that we are proud of what the Election Commission is capable of. It may make, there may be a few lapses under its watch, there may things go wrong, but we are proud of what it has done. I think today is a bit of a watershed day because of the overreaction of the BJP in this matter. I think accusing it of bias, making political capital out of it is perfectly its right. Accusing the Election Commission of being not doing a favor to your party is also perfectly understandable. You can have complaints, of course, but this may be a good time for all political parties, and I speak here more as a citizen, to say, look, whatever has happened, we are really, really proud of our election commission and we will not attack it for bias. I think that particular step needs to be taken, because accusing it of favoring another party to help it win is, I think, a step really too far.
I would like to remind everyone, in fact, that when Mamata Banerjee did the same thing, there was a lot of criticism of Mamata Banerjee and she used words like political vendetta. I have to leave it at that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there was a lot of criticism of that as well.
And she had to backtrack.
She had to backtrack.
By the way, Nidhi,
yes,
the bias is of the returning officer, who's an officer of the state government. The bias is not of the election commission, it's the inaction.
But Mr. Modi has accused the EC of bias today, Piyush.
Your panelist,
Mr. Modi has said that the EC is not impartial. Mr. Modi is the one who said it.
The returning officer represents the election.
No, but Mr. Modi's attack is on the EC. If you'd like, we'll play Mr. Modi's bites for you.
Please, this is the trick of the BJP.
Returning officer
this is the trick of the BJP, Mr. Venkaiah Naidu said. They are only attacking the returning officer.
Alright, gentlemen, I have to wrap. The fact is that it was Mr. Narendra Modi. Yes, it was Mr. Narendra Modi himself who has questioned the partiality, the neutrality of the EC today and has accused it of bias. Of the EC, not just the returning officer.
The returning officer represents the election. The returning officer
we can split hairs, but he said, he has clearly said today that the EC is not
their duty to act on time.
I'm just going to read out to you his exact quote. Chunav Aayog nishpaksh nahi hai. This is what Mr. Modi has said. I think it's very clear what he meant. I have to leave it at that, gentlemen. Let's see how this is going to play out tomorrow, whether there will be a resolution or whether this standoff will continue. Thank you very much to all of you for joining us tonight. We're going to take a break. We'll come back to Varanasi in just a moment, because, as I said, Mr. Modi is supposed to be shortly arriving at the party headquarters there. We'll bring you the latest in just a bit.